All right, we're back. So today I'm talking about toxicity and why most people are attracted to toxicity. Actually, one thing here, need to fix. Change this. Shit. All right, cool. Why most people are attracted to toxicity. You gotta understand that most of the population, all right, most of the general population comes from fucked up situations. It is extremely rare when somebody comes from a completely healthy, emotionally stable, financially well off situation. Unless it's generally like more upper class and these things. But even that doesn't guarantee that there's going to be emotional security and all these things. All right. So you have to understand that most interactions with general population and people at large in mass come from fucked up backgrounds. And you also have to understand that people, our natural inclination is to find mirrors in our interactions. People who mirror our beliefs, people who mirror what we think, people who mirror how we feel, people who mirror our experiences, people who mirror our perspectives. So in a degree, familiarity and an aspect of mirroring ourselves. So what does this mean if the general population is coming from a fucked up state of mind? It means that they're looking for people who also have fucked up states of mind. And so they reward that. They say, oh, this person's like me. He's cool. Gets it. He understands what's going on. He's just like me. Cool motherfucker. But it's like I said before, if most people are coming from fucked up situations, toxic situations that they've never worked on, they're going to incentivize and reward toxic behavior because it feels familiar and it feels like a mirror. So that's why when you actually look at the things that we view as sort of like successful and all these things, they matter. Yes, they're true to some degree, but there's also a level of toxicity to it that gets rewarded that people say, oh, he's got it. He's on the right path. So everybody looks up to these motherfuckers. And then you start getting deeper, and these motherfuckers be like, bro, this ain't it. This ain't it. But there's degrees to it. It's not all wrong, it's not all right, you know. But I think this is important, especially when it comes to relationships. a lot of times, because healthy and what's right in all these things, oftentimes it's kind of boring. It's like peace. It's kind of boring. It's whatever. I think there's an old Buddhist saying or something like love is not the one that gives you butterflies, it's the one that makes you feel at peace. Because these types of things, butterflies, etc., what it actually is a trigger. It's a trigger of emotionality. It's a trigger of familiarity. It's a trigger of something that you're after, that you're chasing. Which is not healthy. Healthy. And I think it comes, there's different time periods when people do work, when reality hits them and makes them do sort of internal work. I think for men, it happens a lot younger, you know. And I think for girls, for women, it happens later. The reason is this. To do the work internally requires isolation and being alone, because that's the only time that you get clarity on who you are. And I spoke about this before. That's the only time that you're gonna get an actual good reflection of the things going on within yourself. Now, most men after high school, I would say the average, a lot of guys who either don't go to college or do all these things, after high school, they get hit with it. They get hit with this isolation because they're not valued in the real world until they're like actually doing something, right? A young man is pretty valueless, at least by social standards. However, a young woman does still have a lot of value at that age. She still gets a lot of attention. She still gets a lot of look. And so the time period when she isolates isn't necessarily until later in life, when that attention fades away, when that attention starts to fade away. Maybe not until her 30s, 40s, etc. And so that's when a majority of women start to do some type of internal work, right? So if we take the example of a beautiful woman, beautiful girl, who gets attention, gets a lot of attention from the ages of 18 to 30. There's no incentive there for her to do any type of internal work, to do any type of reflection, to do any type of anything. Because we've already discussed about her value, we're not going to talk about, sexual marketplace and all those things. But I'm saying this because during that time period, when we spoke earlier about familiarity and toxicity, like we said, the average comes from toxic backgrounds. So a lot of beautiful women, they might come from toxic environments. The likelihood that they actually come from toxic environments is actually very high because it's the average, like we said earlier, it's the average experience. And so that's why you find that they're attracted to these toxic types of dudes, this toxic energy. And it's not until a girl or a woman has done that work that she'll be able to recognize what a healthy counterpart looks like and what that is and why it's attractive. But that doesn't come until later. You know what I mean? So there's a degree of having to be slightly toxic with people because that feels familiar to them. Your healthy ways, you're eating right, you're taking care of yourself, you're on your purpose, you're enjoying your dream, you're feeling happy, you're doing all these things. That's a threat. You don't understand that that is a threat to the average person. You feel confident in yourself, you feel secure in yourself, you feel all of these things. You're taking care of your body, you're taking care of your mind, you're reading, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to improve yourself. This is counterproductive to the normal and the average person. Because, like I said, the average person is looking for familiarity and mirroring. So if you do not reflect the toxicity and the shittiness and the stuff that they haven't dealt with in their own lives, if you don't reflect that in your own life, they're gonna say, "Well, this person's unfamiliar. I don't like this person. I don't like this person that's unfamiliar to me." Write it off. Even though you might be on the correct path. You know what I mean? There's plenty of examples like this. There's plenty of examples like this. Like, it's like when you see those guys, right? If you ever hang around, if you're ever in a group of guys and they're all in the average, right? The average experience. Oh, they're getting drinks every day after work. They're doing these things. They're talking about the game. They're talking about this. And then you start to improve yourself. You start wanting to do all, you know what I mean? You start training, you start doing these things, you start trying to get your mind right, you start trying to elevate your experience. You'll be like, what the fuck? They'll be like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? You think you're better than us or something like that? You know what I mean? Like I said, because it's unfamiliar, they do not want to do that work. Because you start to mirror everything that they're not, everything that deep down they wish they want to be, or they would like to be, but they are too afraid, or they don't want to be, or they're resistant to it for whatever reason. And their reason is not your concern. And I'm telling you this because it's happened. It's happened multiple times. You know, for a while, I was hanging with some people and just you just get caught up into it. Beer here, a couple wine glass here, you start smoking here, you start doing this, you start doing that. And all of a sudden I was like, fuck, like what am I doing, bro? I'm falling back into ways that I thought I conquered. I'm falling back into ways that I thought I conquered. You know what I mean? So when I sat down, I was like, shit, I gotta get back on my shit. I gotta get back on my shit. Cut it out. Cold turkey. No more drinking. No more smoking. None of this. And I went out to the bar and I went out to dinner with them, meet up with some friends. Everybody got a beer. The waitress, she comes over. She's like, so what are you guys gonna have a drink? Beer, 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 beer. I'm like, oh, let me just, y'all don't have no iced tea or some water or something like that. She looked at me, she was like, iced tea? Water? Like, I guess. And everybody at the table sat there. They looked at me. They were like, "The fuck?" But they're afraid. That's the thing. That's what's funny. They're afraid because when you really start trying to walk on your path, and this goes back to other shit that I'm talking about earlier, they're scared of that judgment. That judgment that I just faced right there, they are afraid of that judgment. And this goes back to another video on the confidence to be judged. They are afraid of that judgment, that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling right there. And when you know what you're talking about, when you know what's true, when you know what's right, and you know what's more conducive to the outcome that you want, then fuck them, bro. Shit, I'm spilling ashes everywhere, bro. Fuck them. It's all love, but fuck them, bro. You got shit to do. You got somewhere where you're trying to be. You know what I mean? The thing is this. The thing is this. Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. So if you are doing the work to learn from people who do know something, because they have an outcome that you want. So they do know something. And you're implementing that. And you're trying to do that and evolve and do these things. It only takes a little bit of conviction, a little bit of confidence, and a little bit of authority. And their whole thing kind of crumbles for you to put when you push back. When you push back on it. If you just start working out, motherfuckers like, oh, why you working out, bro? You ain't doing the shit. You ain't doing shit. Motherfucker, you fat motherfucking lazy piece of shit. I ain't trying to be like you, bro. Look at you. Look at you, bro. I ain't trying to be like you. I'll take advice. Respectfully. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro. But people love toxicity. So if you're trying to get the love of the masses, if you're trying to get the love of these people, you got to understand that they love toxicity. That's why when you look at entertainment, all these things, right? Shit that goes viral, the shit that motherfuckers love to watch. It's the most toxic shit ever. All these drama shows, all these reality shows, all these fucking retarded entertainers, bro. All this shit, they don't be talking about nothing, bro. It's just super low level entertainment. It's bullshit, bro. It's stupid and it's toxic, but it's for the masses. That's why it resonates with the fucking masses. So if your path, if you're wanting to escape that reality, don't get mad at it. It is what it is, bro. It is what the fuck it is. Use it. I say use it, bro. Use that information. Because you're not gonna change people. People only change themselves. So if you want to change people, you gotta change yourself first. And let your actions, let your influence speak. You don't say nothing, bro. You just do your shit. You know what I mean? You entertain the 99% and you teach and you educate the 1%. Don't cast your pearls upon swine. That's my advice. That's my advice. So just know that going forward.